Now this video goes along with the MAR transcription instruction notes that you'll find in under the instruction notes heading. It should be the pages, I believe, number up to 14, but there's a few missing, which may be okay, so don't worry about that. The first thing you're going to notice is it says there is a dose equals strength times amount worksheet. This is just kind of a little bit of an overview of where and how things get put onto that MAR that we just took a look at in the prior video. They just kind of want to show you where things come from. So between the healthcare provider's order and the labels that you get from a pharmacy, you're going to be able to get all those numbers that you saw the last time on the last video. For instance, all the stuff that was put in on the left here, that information comes from two things: the healthcare provider's order, which is really a fancy word for a prescription, and the label from the pharmacy. All right, that's where everything comes from. The first thing, though, is that we want to just show you a little worksheet in case you're not sure where everything comes from. It's a quick little one. I'm not going to do this for each one, but just for the first one. So let's take a look at it. First of all, let me flip this for 1 minute. Here's the actual problem or practice, MAR. So it says, you have taken Tina Lewis to the doctor. It's not going to be you, but someone has. And she has received medication from the pharmacy. You're going to pretend that the date is June 11th, and let's go with 2019. So when you're doing your homework for this week, I want you to use the year 2019 because you're going to get into months that haven't occurred yet, so we can't use 2020. So the date is June 11, 2019, and it is 1 p.m. You're going to use the healthcare provider's order, the pharmacy label, and the generic equivalents to discontinue. That's the difference about this, what I'm going to show you on this video and the last video. Because you're going to discontinue an order and transcribe a new order onto that existing medication sheet. Okay? Don't worry about this. It says do not place your initials in the medication box because you're not administering a medication at this time. You're only transcribing. Okay? Let's go back to this now. So those were your directions. Now, before we actually go and do that in the MAR, making sure that you know what a dose versus strength versus the amount is. This is just a little recap. So here's Tina. This is pretty much her script from the healthcare provider. The healthcare provider's Dr. Jones. He or she prescribed Zantac, 150 milligrams twice a day by mouth. It also says on this prescription that she has no known allergies, and it has the date 6/11/2019. Remember, we're going with. So they want you to fill in, what's the dose? All right, so you're coming back here and you're looking at this information. The dose is always whatever the strength of medication is. So milligrams, it's 150 milligrams. That's your dose, okay? It moves to strength. It says the strength is found on the pharmacy label. Okay, so here's your pharmacy label next to the name of the medication. All right, so look at your pharmacy label. It has a bunch of stuff on it. It has an RX number. It has the pharmacy and the location. It has probably a phone number up here. It has the date, again, 6/11/19. It has the patient's name, Tina Lewis. She's getting ranitidine, HCl, 75 milligrams. Or, remember, the generic is coming first, the brand is second. So the brand label is Zantac. Now the pharmacist called it brand name. The doctor called it the brand name. The pharmacist is calling it generic as well as brand. And this line here gives the instructions. Take 2 tablets by mouth twice a day. The quantity, total quantity in the bottle is 120. Why? Well, the patient, Juanita, is taking, or Tina in this case, sorry, Tina is taking 2 tablets twice a day. So that means she's taking 4 tablets every day. 4 tablets, if you divide 120 by 4, you're going to get 30, and that's the number of days in a month. So this is 1 month prescription. She can have 3 refills. Again, this is the expiration date, ED, which is probably going to be exactly 1 year from when the date was prescribed. So this would probably say 6/11/20, and a lot number for the medication. Okay, now this worksheet is asking you, what's the strength of the medication? Remember, the dosage is 150 milligrams. That's how much the doctor wants Tina to take. The medication is that the pharmacy is giving comes as a 75 milligram tablet. So the strength is 75 milligrams. The amount is found on the pharmacy label in the instructions. The amount is how many tablets? Here's the label, here's the instructions. Take 2 tablets by mouth twice daily. So the amount, each time she takes it, is 2 tablets. Now let's just go back and reiterate one thing I said on the last video. So 75 milligrams, but she's taking 2 of them. 75 plus 75 is 150 milligrams, and that is how much the doctor wants her to take. 150 in the morning, 150 in the evening, twice daily. All right? So we'll get rid of that. And now we're going to put up some more information about Tina. Okay, this is the kind of like a form that the doctor filled out when Tina was seen there last. So she came on, again, we're following our directions from this transcription right here, okay, so page 4, and you're just going to keep referring to the few pages that follow. So Tina, the date, remember again, is June 11th, and she's at the doctor's at 1 p.m. Dr. Jones, no allergies. Why is Tina there? She states she's having a burning feeling in her throat during the day. And currently, her current MAR would show that she's taking pantoprazole 40 milligrams by mouth once a day in the evening. And the staff signature, this is the person at the residence home that she lives at, John Smith, he's the program manager. He has to sign this with today's date. And the healthcare provider's findings is what the doctor has found wrong with Tina when she comes in. And he or she has determined that Tina has GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. So for that reason, this doctor is discontinuing. That's what that D/C means, discontinue. Make sure you know that. That's very important. You don't write the whole word discontinue. You just put D/C, all capital letters. This doctor is discontinuing the pantoprazole and instead wants her to take Zantac, 150 milligrams, twice daily by mouth. So that's what we already saw. Remember, the dose is 150 milligrams. The frequency is twice daily. The route is by mouth. No special instructions or anything after that. The doctor signs it and again dates it. Okay? So that is the doctor's order. A lot of sheets here. Sorry for all the work. Now, on the back, you see page 6. But let's take a look at page 7 first. They're not in the greatest of order. Page 7 gives you the pharmacy label. So the pharmacy label, you don't have to really be concerned about this. We're looking for the items that we really need to think about. Her name, here's the ranitidine. Okay, this is the new prescription. Ranitidine is the generic name. And if you need to remember which is the generic with the brand. That's what this page is for. Remember, generic comes first. Zantac, the brand name, comes second. The strength, 75 milligrams. The 2 tablets by mouth, twice daily. That's your amount. And we already talked about the rest of this. Okay, 120 because she's taking 4 a day, blah, blah, blah. All right, now let's go back to page 6. All right. Here is Tina's MAR, the way it looked before she went to this doctor's appointment at 1 o'clock on June 11th, okay? She had 1 medication she was taking. You notice up here, June, and it would say 2019. You can write that in, June 2019. She has no allergies. The start date of her medication, that this pantoprazole that she was taking, was February 7th, okay? So, and we'll say from 2019. So from February 7th all the way till June, she has been taking, so it still says continue, C-O-N-T, period. She's been taking this medication every single day since February 7th. Again, all the information here. Generic name is pantoprazole. The brand name is Protonix. The strength is 40 milligrams. Therefore, and she's only taking 1 tablet. The amount is 1 tablet. So the strength and the dose are going to be the same, 40 milligrams. She takes it by mouth. The frequency is once daily in the evening. There's no special instructions. And the reason she takes it is to decrease acid production. All right, so from February 7th, and every month there's a new one of these MAR sheets, okay, because the calendar only lasts for 1 month. So February 7th, and then all of March, all of April, all of May, and this is the June medication sheet. So at 8 p.m. at night, once daily in the evening, they've determined 8 p.m. is when this is going to happen, Tina gets her medication. All these initials, remember, are for the person who gave her that medication at 8 p.m. So on June 1st, KB, who is Carl Burke, gave her her medication. So he initialed it. On June 2nd, it was JS. John Smith gave her the medication. He initialed it. Back to KB on the 3rd, KB on the 4th. On June 5th, it was ST, Sarah Turney. And she also gave it to her on the 6th. On the 7th, it went back to Carl. On the 8th, it was Reggie. On the 9th, it went back to Carl. On the 10th, it went back to Carl. Now, remember, Tina went to see her doctor on the 11th of June at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. She is not going to get this medication at 8 p.m. because the doctor just prescribed something new for her. Your job is to now discontinue this medication and put the new one in. That is going to be found on page 8. So we'll put 8 up here. All right. 8 is pretty much the same thing as 6, except we're getting rid of the medication the doctor discontinued and we're putting the new one in. Okay? The sheet that you're going to want to look at to help you with this is the one from the pharmacist label. So page 7 will help you, okay? But for now, you don't need that. We're going to discontinue the first medication. So what you do, you are going to put an X through the remainder of the month, whatever month you're in, June, okay? Because nobody's going to be given pantoprazole any longer to Tina for the whole rest of the month. So instead of putting someone's initials, you're going to X out every single one of that 8 p.m. dosages all the way through the entire month. Okay, that's what these X's are. Then you're going to do 2 things. You're going to put a dark line once diagonal through the medication and through the calendar. And then you're going to put DC in big black letters, probably with a marker. Discontinued, D/C, and the date, 6/11/19. Remember, we're pretending this is 2019. And your initials. So you would literally put your initials here. On the homework, I want to see your initials, not JS. You do the same thing over here. D/C, the date, 6/11/19, your initials. So now you've discontinued. Now you have to add the new medication. Okay, use your pharmacy label here. Start date. Again, we know that it started on June 11th, so 6/11/19. We don't know how long this is going to go for. If it works well, she could be on it for a while, so you put continue, CONT, period. Generic name. Remember, generic is the first line on your pharmacy label. So it's ranitidine, HCl. The brand name is your second name, Zantac. Your strength follows whatever is after that generic name, 75 milligrams. The amount is in your instructions. Take 2 tablets. So the amount is 2 tablets. The frequency, again, look at your directions, twice daily. So that's what you put here, twice daily. How, the route is by mouth. And the dose, now this is where you have to do your adding. If you're taking 2 tablets and each one is 75 milligrams, 75 plus 75 is 150 milligrams. That's your dose. You also, besides doing that in your head, you can go back to the healthcare provider's order who said that he's giving pantoprazole 150 milligrams twice a day. And that says dose. So one of these 2 areas you will find everything in. All right, so you filled in this. The next thing you have to go and do is you now have to place X's in the spots of the month of June that Tina is not or hasn't gotten this medication. So if it's June 11th and her appointment was at 1 p.m., that means the first dose of medication that she's actually going to get is going to be that night, June 11 at 8 p.m. So from there on in, that box is left blank and all the dates following it are left blank. But up to that date, you have to discontinue the medication. So you put an X through June 1 through 11 in the morning and June 1 through 10 for the nighttime. All right? Basically, it's what you did up here, except that you remember she was only taking 1 pill in the evening here. So it's the same thing that lines up here. You have to remember this one is given twice, so you have to get rid of the mornings that she didn't take it as well. All right? And that is discontinuing 1 medication and transcribing a new one.